Looking to trade your old bulk for some of the latest Pokemon booster boxes? Well, check ccgcastle.com. The process is very simple. Send in 1400 cards and get a brand new sealed booster box back. We ship boxes worldwide for free once we get your cards. Make sure to check video description or check ccgcastle.com for more informations. How's it going, Pokefans? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at one competitive deck for the current standard format. So this is the Drampa-GX featuring Tapu Lele-GX and of course a Garbodor. The first thing I want to say about this deck is that this is pretty much almost a standard version of this deck, but the couple changes that I decided to tweak with this deck is to tech two multi-switches, because multi-switch is a very good card in this build and it can actually help you from nowhere to pull 180 damage counters with your Drampa-GX. So let's just give you the example. You have one Rainbow Energy attached to your Garbodor on the bench, and you took the knockout. Your opponent took the knockout against one of your Pokemons from play, and you don't have Drampa on your bench, but for example you have Drampa in your discard pile. You can always play Rescue Stretcher, put that Drampa onto your bench, attach double Course Energy to the Drampa, promote Drampa in the active position, and then simply use multi-switch to move Rainbow Energy from Garbodor to the Drampa and go for 150 or 180 with the choice bet against GX or EX. Why I'm talking that? Well, basically because in some cases your opponent will not have 9 or 10 tool cards or item cards in discard pile, so you're not going to be able to hit with the Trash Lanche for so many damage counters. But for with the Drampa, for example, you can go for safely 150 or 180 as long as you have one Pokemon on your bench with some of the damage counters. Of course, that's just one case, but multi-switch can also be good because even if you don't pull that Team Magma Secret Base, you have greater chance basically with the multi-switch to hit with the Berserk for 150 or 180 on your turn too, especially if you go first. The same thing can be applied. Attach Rainbow Energy to your bench with Pokemon, and then turn 2, attach double Course Energy to your Drampa and use multi-switch, of course, if you can find him. But overall, I like the idea with the multi-switch, and I must actually say that it really works pretty well. So I'm running 15 Pokemon, 33 trainer cards, and 12 energies, and that's pretty much it. So let's check and let's take the look on those Pokemons. 3 copies of Drampa with that Rido's Edge, Berserk, and Big Wheel GX. Very good card, 180 HP, 2 retreat cost. What else we should say about it? It can also discard special energy from opponent active Pokemon, so I kind of like that. 1 Tapu Koko for the free retreat, but mainly Flying Flip. You can also spread the damage around the board, and I actually like that, especially if you can start with Tapu Koko. It's definitely also a good card against Gyarados decks, for example, so keep that also in mind. Then I'm running 3 copies of Tapu Lele-GX. With a Wonder Tag, of course, and we can search a deck for the supporter card once we put Tapu Lele on the bench. We can also use Tapu Curie if we need, but the most importantly, we can also attack with the double Course Energy for the energy drive, 20 times the 20 for each energy attached to both Pokemon's in the active position. 4 copies of Trubbish. Decided to go with the Acid Spray Trubbish, mainly because turn 1, I can even attack for 40 with a choice band my opponent active EX or GX and force him to discard energy if I flip heads on the coin flip, which is pretty good. 1 Garbodor, of course, with the Garbotoxin, and 3 Garbodors with the Trash Lanche. Then from the item cards, of course, I'm running 1 copy of Escape Rope. So from nowhere I can force my opponent to promote his or her benched Pokemon to the active position. Why Escape Rope is good here? Mainly because if our Drampa in the active position, for example, have 150, 160, 170 damage counters on it, we can just play Escape Rope, we can remove that Drampa to the bench position, and then we can play Multi-Switch to move one of those energy cards from the Drampa to the active Pokemon and then still attach just energy, for example, to another Drampa and still be ready to go with Berserk for 150 or 180. So that's also pretty cool play with the Escape Rope. You're definitely going to see that in play. Just be patient. After deck review, you're actually going to see Multi-Switch and Escape Rope in action. 2 Field Blowers, very important to discard tools and stadiums from opponent's side. We can, with each tool card in discard pile, increase damage for the Trash Lanche for 20. 2 Multi-Switches, as I mentioned it, so we can move energies from bench to the active Pokemon, and Those energies can also be special energy cards. 2 rescue stretchers. I decided to go with just the 2 rescue stretchers instead of the Super Road. I don't feel comfortable playing Super Road mainly because I really want to have more options to put Pokemons back to my hand. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, only 3 VE Seekers. Probably somebody gonna criticize me about those VE Seekers, but I feel how even with the 3 you can be just perfectly fine. 2 copies of Team Magma Secret Base. Whenever any player puts a basic Pokemon, expect Team Magma, of course, on the bench. That Pokemon will take 2 damage counters. Very important, so you can have that Berserk activated. 1 copy of Bridget, of course. 2 copies of Lysanders for the Lysandering your opponent benched Pokemons with the active. 3 copies of N for the draw support, as well as 4 copies of Professor Sycamore. In this deck, I'm not running Professor Kukui, so you can actually see that, which might be a little bit problematically, mainly because without Kukui, we cannot go for more than 180 damage counters with Berserk. So in the early game, we might have some problems one-hitting knocking out those Terminator GXs, for example, in a Volcanion match. But against Volcanion, I think this deck should have 70% win ratio. That's just my personal opinion. 3 choice bands, 3 float stones, and then of course 12 energies. 8 of them are special energies, so 4 double course energies, 4 rainbow energies, and 4 psychic energy cards. And that's pretty much it. I mean, very interesting deck list. I used to play it on my tournament, and I actually pulled like 5 victories and only 1 defeat. It's interesting that I lost to the Volcanion, but mainly because I ran out of the time, and if there was much more time, I would definitely win the game. But it is how it is. But once again, I really like this deck, and it's very, very powerful. So if you're looking for any of these cards, make sure to check ccgcastle.com. Also, you can find the link in my video description. So yeah, all of these cards can be found on that online store. You can also check on eBay, CCG Castle. You can just type to the Google. So yeah, let's do some game tests so you can actually see how this deck works in action, what's the strategy about it, and make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already didn't. So see you in the game. Alright, so let's start first here. Today's competitive video is about Drampa and Garbodor. So yeah, I mean, this deck actually features also 2 copies of Multi-Switch. And I like the fact that you can actually use Multi-Switch to basically move your energy, special energy card from one Pokemon to the other. That's pretty badass. 2 Trubbish and 1 Tapu Koko. Alright, 1 Rainbow Energy should be attached to my Tapu Koko, so I can have 10 damage counters on it, and I'm gonna pass my turn. That's it. Turn 2, I'm ready to attach my Double Course Energy on my active Drampa, play my N, and use Field Blower if it's necessary to discard tools from my opponent Pokemons in play. So 1 Sycamore for 7. How many item cards my opponent can discard it this way? 1 Floatstone, 1 Field Blower. It's not that bad, definitely. The question is how many energies he can discard with this team up. For now, he can do 1 energy discardment and only 1 power hitter for like a 50. Okay, that's fair enough. That's really fair enough. Let's go with a Field Blower, Double Course Energy attachment, and 1 copy of N in hope to find that Multi-Switch. But there is no sign of the Multi-Switch. At least I have my Ultra Ball available, and I can grab myself 1 copy of the Garbodor. Unfortunately, there is no tool in my hand, so I cannot stop my opponent from using those Steam Ups. So I'm just gonna go with my Big Wheel GX. It's not even worth to attack my opponent for only 20 damage counters. So I really want to power up, maybe if it's somehow possible, my second Drampa, so I can hit hard my opponent for like 180. Right now, that's my main focus. So far, so good. If he don't have N, of course, in his hand, so with the N, my opponent can simply discard my... force me to shuffle my hand back into my deck. So there's another Steam Up. Alright. and Sycamore for 7. So no sign of the end. That's good sign. Switch discarded and Lysander. So far he have 4 item cards. That's 8 damage counters with my Trash Challenge. That's just for now. Alright, another Volcanion and another Power Heater for like a 50. That's fair enough. I have access to my Lysander in my discard pile, which means if I can find double Course Energy as a top deck, probably I'm gonna do... No sign of it. Okay. Fair enough. Anyways, yeah, I completely forget something. Let's just first go with the V-Seeker for the Lysander play. Second thing I'm going to do here will be Ramp of Energy attachment to my Drampa. Then I'm gonna play my Escape Rope. Yep, more than that. Escape Rope and Lysander, he's Volcanion for the one-hit knockout. That's basically all I need here. More than that, Berserk can go for 180. That was pretty nice move. Probably my opponent didn't expect something like that. That actually happened. There's a Floatstone and a Trubbish. He can definitely respond, hitting me back for like 160 with the Bright Flame. Maybe even for more, depend if he will have a Choice Band and a couple more Steam Ups. But even if he do that, again, I can respond by hitting him hard, especially because I have Garbodor available on my bench. But there's also Tapu Koko who can spread damage counters around the board. And I have plenty of options. And there is, the most important thing, a Tapu Lele in my hand. So I can also send him down on the bench. Yeah, I can definitely set him down to the bench, but I'm thinking about maybe spreading some damage counters around the board. There's a Team Magma Secret Base. There's a Tapu Lele, and I can search my deck for something like a... Yeah, I wish I can go for the Teammates, but I can't, because it's in my discard pile. Anyways, let's just active the ability with that Garbodor, and let's Sycamore for 7. Whew, no sign of the energy card. You gotta be kidding me here that I didn't find energy card. Alright, that might cost me a lot. Okay, passing my turn back to my opponent. I mean, I'm really having a hard time with the energy cards. I'm running 12 energies, and so far I didn't find more than 3. That's just ridiculous. On the other side, he cannot retreat. He is forced to use the Shell Trap, unfortunately. And there's a Lysander down to my Drampa. Not a big deal, especially because I have Floatstone available in my hand, which means I can easily retreat my Drampa, but I took 5 damage counters, and he didn't search his deck for another Pokemon, which is actually an interesting thing. I'm definitely going to play my Field Blower. Alright. And I think it's definitely time to apply some pressure with my Garbodor. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools, 5 item cards, whatever you want to call that. Retreat into the Garbodor, and this could be a V-Seeker into the Lysander. For the Tornado without energies and without tool. Of course, he can play that Floatstone or switch if he have, but that's gonna be just 20 more damage counters. And I also didn't want to take some damage counters from the Shell Trap, so mainly that's the reason why I decided to Lysander his another Tornado on the bench. Alright, so the game is definitely very close. for the both players right now. I'm just looking forward to see what else my opponent can do here. Yeah, double Course Energy, Volcanion deck does not play. There's a V-Seeker for another item card. That's 120 damage counters at this moment into the Olympia. He can take the knockout with a Bright Flame, but again, he needs to discard 2 energies. And that might be more than enough for me to set up... Oh no, he just decided to use a Shell Trap. Okay, which means only one thing. Floatstone into the Sycamore. Alright. There is a double Course Energy and a multi-switch available in my hand. So I definitely need to put somewhere that Rainbow Energy and... yeah, just a Trash Avalanche. I'm taking 8 damage counters back. It's okay. He can knock me out with his Shell Trap. I know for that. It's not a big deal. But there's also 3 energies for the Bright Flame. First possible scenario. And there we go with the N. Okay, I still have that multi-switch, which is important. I'm also going to have that Teammates. There is a multi-switch. So I like that. I just need another Drampa. So I can hit him hard. Oh, he decided to retreat into the Volcanion. Alright, so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 item cards. That's still 120. Alright. 2 energies attached. Time to promote my Tapu Koko. If you're gonna ask yourself how I'm gonna knock out my opponent Pokemon here, well, to be honest, I'm definitely looking to knock him out with my Drampa. With the fresh Drampa, of course. So let's play once again that huge multi-switch. And of course, N. So I have enough damage counters for that Berserk. Plus I also have Choice Band for the next turn. And yeah, I mean, Berserk can go for 150 right now, which is a plenty of damage counters. And I'm down to 3 prize cards. The most important thing here is that my opponent cannot knock out my Drampa with none of those 2 Turtonators. And overall, I think personally that I'm in a much favorable position right now than my opponent is. Okay, probably another Baby Volcanion should be promoted in the front so he can try to power up those Turtonators and maybe get lucky to discard my Floatstone and, who knows, deal more damage counters than just 20 with the Power Heater. But for now, definitely not a good position for my opponent, and he decided to play Fisherman and grab himself 4 energies from that discard pile. There is Volcanion EX. And he also took 20 damage counters here because of the T-Magma Secret Base energy attached to Volcanion and probably Power Heater. 2 energies to be attached, 1 to the Turtonator with 7 damage counters and 1 to the Volcanion. Oh no, decided to attach 1 to the... Okay, interesting. A double Course Energy play. Which definitely goes here. This can go here, and another Berserk for the knockout. Alright, so I'm down to 2 prize cards. And there is another Garbodor for me, but no sign of the Trubbish on the bench. This is probably going to be a Bright Flame for like 160, which will be more than enough for the knockout against my Drampa, but... if my opponent cannot end me or discard somehow energy from my hand, the game unfortunately is over because, oh yeah, just a Bright Flame for 160. So that was very close game because I have another Drampa available on my bench and that Drampa is capable to hit for another Berserk in 150. which is basically more than enough for the knockout against my opponent. I even top decked that Choice Band, so I could go even for 180 if there was no a float stone attached to that Drampa, so that's the GG.